I spent $2,000 on the future of computing just 3 years ago, and today, it struggles to open a simple spreadsheet. Look, here is the engineering secret they really didn't want me to find. I'm peeling back that brushed aluminum to show you why your investment was actually a countdown. We're looking at the calculated decay of flagship hardware, machines marketed as productivity powerhouses, but actually engineered with a finite heartbeat. It's a brilliant piece of deceptive design, really. It ensures your tech becomes a paperweight just as the next model drops. Think about the moment you first held that device. You know, how it felt. It felt solid, permanent. You were told this was a machine that would grow with you. But whilst you were marveling at the thinness of the chassis, the industry was already plotting its funeral. This isn't just about a battery losing its charge or a screen getting a bit dim. No, this is about the silicon shelf life. See, in the world of high-end consumer tech, hardware is often built with a deliberate expiration date hidden deep within its architecture. I've spent the last few months digging through technical white papers and speaking to former engineers to understand how a machine with massive amounts of RAM can feel sluggish after only 36 months. The answer isn't a glitch. It's a feature. It's a bloody massive operation to coordinate software bloat with hardware degradation, right? They've perfected the art of the slowdown. Every minor patch and every major OS overhaul is a subtle brick in a wall that eventually shuts you out of your own device. It's a daunting reality for anyone working in this space. I realized that my $2,000 investment wasn't a purchase at all. It was quite literally a 3-year subscription to relevance that I didn't know I'd signed up for. Look, think of your hardware as a high-performance athlete. On day one, it's at the top of its game. But the software environment it lives in is programmed to get heavier, more demanding, and more complex every single year. Eventually, the athlete just can't carry the weight anymore. The industry calls this progress. I call it a managed decline. We aren't buying tools anymore. We are buying ticking time bombs wrapped in premium glass and metal.
And here's the kicker. Titanium is actually a poorer thermal conductor than the aluminum it replaced. Look, you're paying a premium for a chassis that traps heat inside. As the software environment evolves, bloated with heavy AI features and complex background processes, your hardware begins to choke. It starts to throttle, slowing itself down just to keep from melting. You're not buying a permanent workstation. You're buying a 36-month lease on a luxury experience, one that's designed to self-destruct the moment the warranty fades. But the heat isn't the only thing they're hiding under that premium metal skin. There's a much more calculated reason why your device is sealed shut. Look, this is the architecture of part serialization. It is where engineering stops being about innovation and starts being about control. You see, when I open up a modern flagship today, I am not just looking at a collection of interchangeable parts. I'm looking at a digital ecosystem where every single component, from the battery to the haptic motor, is cryptographically paired to the logic board. Think of it, well, like a digital handshake. If the serial numbers do not match perfectly, the device simply refuses to function. If you take a screen from one brand new $2,000 phone and swap it onto an identical model, the software will often just disable critical features like Face ID. It's a brilliant bit of engineering, but for all the wrong reasons. Silicon Valley will tell you this is about security. They'll claim they are protecting your data from malicious third-party components, right? But in reality, it is a digital kill switch for the independent repair market. It's a system designed to ensure that if a $5 ribbon cable snaps, your only option is to hand over $800 for a full assembly replacement, or more likely, just buy the newer model. Look, this is a bloody massive wealth transfer. We are transitioning from owning our tools to merely renting them.
Whilst the marketing departments brag about using recycled aluminum, their engineering teams are ensuring that millions of perfectly functional chips end up in a landfill because a software lock turned them into expensive paperweights. It is an artificial barrier that the planet quite literally cannot sustain. It's daunting.
So, is the flagship dead? Well, only if we keep rewarding this culture of, let's call it what it is, disposable luxury. Look, as professionals, I think you and I have to recognize that the true pro move, it isn't just owning the thinnest device on the table. It's owning the one that actually belongs to you. We need to demand modularity and longevity, over a temporary status symbol that's gone in 18 months. I'm going to show you why the smartest tech enthusiasts, they're moving away from the $2,000 trap. They're heading toward hardware that actually respects their wallet, and more importantly, their right to repair. Because whilst that shiny glass back looks brilliant under studio lights, it's a hollow victory if the internals are glued shut and software locked to a proprietary server. Don't let the marketing fluff fool you, right? This is quite literally a shift in how we perceive value. Look, if you cannot fix it, you do not own it. You're simply a long-term subscriber to a piece of hardware that was designed to fail from the moment it left the assembly line. But here's the thing. The alternatives are already gaining momentum, from modular laptops with swappable ports to handsets that actually prioritize the user, not the shareholder. These are the devices for people who understand that a high price tag should buy you a decade of utility, not just a 2-year lease on a status symbol. You see, the smartest tech enthusiasts are realizing that the most advanced feature a device can have is a long life. If you're ready to break the cycle, I want to know which piece of tech you've kept alive the longest through your own repairs. Let me know in the comments. It's a small step, but it's how we start reclaiming our hardware. If you appreciate this kind of deep dive, I'd love for you to join us here as we continue to look at what's really happening in the world of tomorrow.